You're listening to the Plane Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carl Stebbings and Matt Smith.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 167 of the Plane Talking UK podcast. I'm Carl Stebbings, and joining me in the lounge studio this evening is my co-host Matt Smith.
Yeah, well, hello everyone. This is really rather quite glamorous and nice in here, isn't it?
It's the lounge studio. Well, we're not far from where we were last week.
In fact, actually,
it's literally behind here,
it's just behind the
curtain.
Yeah.
But it was really nice this afternoon, and then it got darker, and then it got darker, and then
it rained.
Rained.
And, yeah, absolutely.
So we're inside this evening.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
So we're in here anyway. So a big welcome to everyone who's joined us on the show this evening. Loads of lucky listeners in the chat room this evening. We've got Cheryl.
Lucky listeners.
Cheryl Mandrake is in the chat room. Dan Hannington, Dave Abbey, Owen is in the chat room. Liz Piper, our main man Micah, Mariana, Mark Harvey, Masha. We've got Myla and we've got Thomas Mandrake as well.
We've got a very quick hi and bye from Jenny Parkinson in Rome.
Oh, hello, Jenny.
Oh, but not from Rome, but from the Italian lakes. Now going out for
very
dinner.
Nice. Very nice.
But we'll watch on YouTube later. Oh, hi, Jenny.
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
anyway, sorry, carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
And yes, but we have also got someone joining us in the living room studio this evening.
Indeed.
He's one of our popular guests on the show, and all the ladies love him. He's our favourite Harpjet flight attendant, so welcome on the show, Owen.
Hey guys, how are things? Good to be back on the show again.
Oh yeah,
no, it's 2 weeks in a row.
I know,
you've made the trek across the UK to come and join us.
It is quite a trek, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is quite a trek,
actually. Yeah.
We are out in the middle of nowhere. To be fair, it's only an hour and a half's worth of middle of nowhere for you. But
well, that's true. Yeah,
absolutely. Anyway, unlike our next guest, however, who has been to these fair shores, but it's a considerably longer journey for him to come and join us. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome onto the show.
Great pleasure.
It does genuinely give me great pleasure because I mean it is a sort of seat of the pants. Matt's going to spend most of the show being terribly nervous, but nevertheless, it's great. It's a great pleasure to welcome the legendary Captain Al.
Have we started?
Yes. Yeah, here we go.
Here he is.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We played a jingle.
11 minutes late then.
Yeah.
Marvellous.
Okay, come on. It's only 11 minutes past.
I've managed to, I've managed to drag myself halfway around the world and back to get here just in time to see the farce that was the first 11 minutes of the show.
How rude. Indeed. Yes, absolutely.
No, seriously, it's great to be here as usual. You'll have to excuse the tire. I've been to Naples and back, and then came over from Leeds back home just to be on the show.
Very
that is halfway around the world.
Dedication, that is.
Yeah.
So you say you've been to Naples today? Was that quite nice there, Al?
No, I hate the place, to be honest.
Oh, really?
It's an absolute nightmare of an airport. Nothing happens in the right order or the right time.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
To say it's quite frustrating.
Wow.
Is it a challenging airport to fly into, Al, or is it just a challenging airport all round?
Yeah,
it's just a challenge.
Okay, fair enough. Indeed.
It's not on Al's top 10 of airports.
Of favourite places to go.
To fly to.
Indeed.
No, well, from an aviation point of view, someone built some mountains at one end of the runway and built a city at the other.
Right, okay, very
Shoved
convenient.
A volcano to one side of it for good measure.
Okay, yeah.
And then put a load of Italians in charge of it.
Right, okay. Yeah, that sounds like a very magical combination of joy, frankly.
So we've also got the legend that is Don Sebastian, the pre-buy guy. He's joined us in the chat room. Hello, Don. Greetings to you as well, Don. I expect he's doing a pre-buy on some multi-million dollar
exotic jet
somewhere.
Absolutely.
I expect, yeah.
Yeah.
But we've got loads of news to get through on the show tonight. Some really interesting stories.
Don,
including...
is the window open or closed tonight?
You've confused me now.
Well, Don normally gives us a running commentary as to whether the window's open or closed in whatever vehicle he's in, doesn't he? So I was just wondering, just making idle conversation as you do,
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That yes, that I think that must have been. I think that to be honest, I think that must have been one of my highlights of the APG that we did the panel thing. It was just I don't know why we weren't getting a feed from Don, but that was so funny. That was so funny. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So yes, we have got, as I said, we've got got news stories. We've got no segment from Pip this week. He's gone AWOL. Don't know where he is. He'll probably turn up in the chat room just before the end of the show like we did last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably turn up on Skype.
We've got we've got a few little splatterings of some military news, including one about some vintage aircraft as well.
Ooh.
And we've also got some listener feedback which we received today.
It's grey. Yes, it will be a grey aircraft of some description.
Yes, we've got some listener feedback that we had sent in by one of the listeners today, didn't we? Received that. It's on the email, Matt.
Oh, on email. Sorry, I was just. Have I missed something?
It's just as well I produce stuff ready for the show, isn't it?
Okay, right. Yes, fair enough. Yes.
And obviously, we've got Al to boost morale during the show. Just
to chair the podcast, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. So
I think we better start the show.
Yeah, okay. All
so
right.
we are going to start the show.
A bit of housekeeping. It's now quarter past. Yes, it's now quarter past something or other.
It is. It's the 2nd of June.
That is, 2nd of June.
We're into June, guys and girls.
Yeah, how did that happen?
It's nearly the summertime.
Yeah,
it is the summertime.
Well, this
We've
is as close.
Had a garden
as close to.
Have you seen out here?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it just looks glorious at the moment.
Oh,
yeah, it just looks bright and shiny.
It looks nice. It's so
absolutely.
nice.
This is the closest we'll probably get to summer. To be fair, thunderstorms. What's the weather like where you are, actually, Al? What's it been like? Well, not in your room.
Well, right where I am, it's crap.
Right.
But where I was earlier, it was quite nice.
Okay.
So, contrary to popular belief, it does actually sometimes be sunny in Leeds, and I think that was today.
Wow, that was your annual day. Your annual day of sun has been and gone.
Hello, Barbara. She's joined us in the chat room as well. Apparently, Don's going sailing.
Ooh,
a bit of a different line of enjoyment there.
It is. Anyway, sorry.
It's a float plane.
It's a float plane. Yeah, it's going on a float plane. Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
anyway, it is. Sorry, the housekeeping is. It is the 2nd of June, 2017, and it is 7:15 today, which is when we are recording.
So it's we're going to start the show, and as we do each week, with our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you're ready, Matt,
I am,
and if you're ready, Eoin,
I'm ready,
and if you're ready, the captain, that is Al.
Yeah, I presume there's some sort of email for this that I should be looking at.
That'd be nice, if you wouldn't mind.
Let's go.
We'll take that as a yes, shall we? Let's go.
So, kicking off this week's first news story, we're going to start this one off with a kind of breaking news. So this is not on our show notes, but it's one that came up on Sky News feed whilst we were having our evening meal earlier. But this is some more news regarding the wonderful Nevair, or as we know, British Airways here in the UK. So according to Sky News, this was about half an hour ago now. So BA...
Have they found the missing 50 pence for the meter?
No, not quite, Al.
No, indeed.
Even worse for anyone wanting to travel with BA.
Oh, good.
British Airways cabin crew are going to stage a 4-day strike.
Oh, no.
So they're going to strike for 4 days as part of a pay dispute. They're going to walk out on June the 16th. For 4 days. This is all due to a pay agreement through their union. There have been already been several days of industrial action over pay of staff in the so-called mixed fleet who joined the airline in recent years. An offer aimed at ending the dispute was rejected last week. Unite, who is the union for BA, said the planned walkout was prompted by BA's persistent refusal to restore the travel concessions that airline management had been withdrawn from those who took part in strike action. A spokesperson, Howard Beckett, has said that it's disappointing that BA is taking such an approach when we are close to bringing this dispute to a conclusion. But that's, like I said, that's 4-day walkout. That's due to start on the 16th of June. So anyone flying with BA around that time needs to be a little bit,
Well, they need to be walking too, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I mean, they've had no trouble at all over this last sort of week, really, as far as flights and things. I mean, everything's gone very smoothly, hasn't it?
It's shifted from United Airlines to BA.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the focus has moved to one side, certainly. But
so moving on to the stories that we've got in hand. So the first story then is on the Guardian.com site. And it's a news story that most people I would have thought has seen pictures of online. Yeah. It's Microsoft co-founder unveiling the world's biggest plane. So Paul Allen's Stratolaunch, which has a 117-metre wingspan, is designed to send satellites into orbit. The world's biggest plane has been launched by the Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen. The 6-engine dual-hulled Stratolaunch aircraft is designed to launch satellites into orbit, launching the satellites on rockets while the Stratolaunch is in flight. It has the advantage of saving fuel comparing to sending them into orbit from a launch pad. It's designed to carry a rocket and a payload with a combined weight of up to 250,000 kilos, and when in development was expected to cost $300 million, although whether it came in on budget has not been revealed. The Stratolaunch was built by Scaled Composites and is similar in form and function to Scaled aircrafts built to ferry spaceships into the air and release them for independent rocket rides beyond the atmosphere, a service Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic intends to offer to paying passengers. There are no plans for the Stratolaunch to carry humans for business or research. The twin fuselage aircraft incorporates engines, landing gear, avionics and other parts from a pair of Boeing 747 jets, coupled with a frame, wings and skin handmade of lightweight composites, and it's got 28 wheels. The plane will be larger than Howard Hughes's 1947 H-4 Hercules, known as the Spruce Goose, and the Antonov AN-225, a Soviet-era cargo plane originally built to transport the Buran space shuttle that was the world's largest aircraft. It's not the first space venture by Allen, who co-founded Microsoft with Bill Gates. His diverse business portfolio includes the Spaceship One project that sent a fellow billionaires into space. Spaceship One was the first privately built aircraft to enter suborbital space. It won Allen and his partners the Ansari X Prize, a competition worth $10 million, which was started by the X Prize Foundation. It's also served as the template for Branson's Virgin Galactic Spaceship One. This beer is having a right effect on me, I tell you.
Is it?
Hangs next to the Spirit of St. Louis in the Smithsonian Milestones of Flight Gallery in Washington, D.C. Now, Matt, you put the pictures of this on while I was doing the story there. It's interesting.
I love how there's this whole little like where it's been cut out beautifully to enable the aircraft to get in and out of the hangar really easily. It looks like something that you've seen in a jigsaw puzzle where they've taken out a few pieces just so that it fits. Like,
do you think that was an afterthought when they built it all and thought, oh, flipping heck, how are we going to get it in?
Yeah, how are we going to get the things? I mean, it's weird, isn't it? It looks like two aeroplanes that have been bolted together.
I just think in the air, aerodynamically, I just think there'd be a hell of a lot of flex in that centre section where the two
I'm sure they've thought about that.
Wings join. It just looks, if you could like
that also has to hold a satellite or some.
Plus, there's no nose cones. They're not very aerodynamic. Either.
I hope there's a toilet in each half, because that's heck of an issue if you've got to go all the way through that wing section.
Absolutely.
Go to the toilet.
You're in the wrong bit. Yeah. How would that even work? Yeah.
I wonder how it works control-wise.
Yeah, I was going to say you've got 2 flight decks.
Yeah.
6 engines, 2 flight decks.
Does one control one side and the other?
Goodness only
and
knows.
you'd need an incredibly wide runway, I think, to take to get this aircraft off. I think.
Well, it's only the wingspan that's really.
It's fairly wide though. On the pictures here, it's
does look like a bit of a beast. Absolutely.
What's the chat room?
They probably put it on a platform like they did the space shuttle, and then haul it out to the runway and drop it down there.
As you do.
Actually, we might just point out while we're on the subject of wonderful aircraft and stuff.
Oh Lord.
It's an Airbus feature. Is it? Excellent. I'm all ears now.
Yeah, indeed.
That we've got someone in the chat room actually who has just secured quite a nice boot into the world of flying. She has
I don't think we should say.
She's joined a very prestigious UK, it's kind of UK and elsewhere based low cost carrier, we shall say.
Okay, fair enough.
And
but
so
very exciting.
I know, very exciting news from Mila, who's got her big wings now. We'll say. So congratulations to you, Mila. On
very big congratulations.
It's about as British as a kangaroo, Carlos.
Oh yeah,
They're definitely not British.
Well, I wasn't going to say who. But
right.
No,
okay.
Well, I think we all know who Mila is.
Well, you can because she's left now. Anyway, she's gone for cake.
Oh, she's gone for cake. Okay.
Okay. Fair
enough. So congratulations to Mila. She's done very well.
She has indeed, absolutely.
She's been studying. She's been kind of like not in the chat room for quite a few weeks now. So that's where she's been off to.
Woo!
Indeed, absolutely. So anyway, on to the next story, and this is on the independent.ie. So it's this the Irish Independent, and it's in the travel section. And the headline is basically that Ryanair introduces a 60-day advance check-in, but there is a catch.
Really?
Indeed, yeah. Ryanair is allowing customers to check in up to 60 days ahead of their flight, it has announced, provided that they buy allocated seats. Pre-booked seats costs from €2 for rows 6 to 15 and 18 to 33, €7 for rows 2, A, B and C to 5, and €11 for extra legroom rows 1, 2, D, E and F, and 16 and 17. Customers who do not wish to reserve seats may check in for free between 4 and 2 hours before departure and will randomly be assigned seats. Passengers who do not purchase seats are not guaranteed seats together. Children under 12 get free reserve seats, but at least one adult travelling with them needs to have purchased an allocated seat in rows 18 to 30, the airline says. Adults purchasing such seats are charged €4, double the standard rate. Early check-in for passengers purchasing seats had previously been 30 days. We are pleased to introduce 60-day check-in for customers who purchase an allocated seat, the latest customer initiative as part of our Always Getting Better programme, doubling the check-in window and providing more choice to consumers, said Kenny Jacobs, its Chief Marketing Officer. AGB, or Always Getting Better, is Ryanair's Always Getting Better programme of customer service improvements, which now is in its 4th year. Other recent Always Getting Better improvements and announcements have included connecting flights at Rome with more airports to follow, flight discounts for certain types of students that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce.
The Erasmus program.
The Erasmus students. And what are the Erasmus students? Why are they so special?
Well, because they switch
other pop
colleges.
groups are available.
That's
I hadn't even heard of, and I'm a DJ.
Okay, indeed. Yes, and the sale of 20 long-haul Air Europa routes on its website and a new package holiday service. This week, Ryanair announced that its full-year profits had driven 6% to over €1.3 billion, with its average fares down 13% to €41.
So this is something that obviously you've been able to buy the pre-book your seats with Ryanair for a while now. But the 6, because you used to be able to check in, I think it was 24 hours. 24 hours before your flight, you could check in originally with them.
I think you could do it a bit before.
You could do it. It was a week, and then it went down to 4 days if you didn't buy a seat.
Right.
And now it's gone up to 60 days if you buy the ones with the extra legroom.
Which is the overwing exit seats and rows 1. I would have said rows
1 and 2 DEF.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, they've had enough free advertising. I think we should just sort of move on, really. Just
they get a slot every week.
Yeah, absolutely, every single week.
Just yet another complication into the whole process. Just when it used to be quite simply, you just bought a ticket, didn't you? And, and everything just
then you
happened.
get on a plane.
Yeah. Now there's just an unlimited number of variables. But it just no two airlines are the same. Do you check in online? Do you not check in online? When can you check in online? Can you do it yesterday? Do you have to do it tomorrow? Do you do it before you travel? After you travel? Absolutely. Is there a fee? Is there no fee? Do I put my bag in? Do I take my bag with me? What can I have? It just goes on and on and on, doesn't it?
Indeed, yes, a little bit, yes.
That's half the stress of travelling.
Yeah,
which is
just
why
researching.
Which is why if you asked anyone around the world and put their hands up, how many people read the T's and C's the entire way through? I think you'd be hard pushed to find, just how many people do find the T's and C or read the T's and C's when they purchase a ticket online.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
No,
I do because I've been caught out so many times.
Blimey, you've got loads of time.
Yeah.
I kind of look at them and
kind of skim read them.
Yeah.
So the next story, moving on, is for you, Owen.
This is from theguardian.com again, and it says British Airways IT failure. Experts doubt power surge claim. Data center leaders question BA chief executive statement that worldwide disruption was caused by a power surge. Experts have... Sorry, let's start that again.
Yes.
Alex Cruz, BA's chairman and chief executive, on Monday said the power surge was so strong it rendered the backup system ineffective. But multiple data center designers have told The Guardian that a power surge should not be able to bring a data center, let alone data center and its backup, down. It's either a bad design or there's more to the story than just a power surge, said James Williams, chief executive of data center consultancy FutureTech. You have something specifically that you build into a data center called surge protection, which is there to protect against exactly this type of incident. You also have an uninterruptible power supply, UPS, as part of its job is to condition the power, i.e. smooth out the peaks and flows in current. Between those and a quality earthing system, you should be protected from power surges, Williams said. Andy Hurst, Special Products Director for the data center builder Sudlows, said it was shocking just how many data centers lacked the resilience to deal with common problems. A number of failures could have resulted in the downtime, he said. Some organizations invest millions in IT equipment but seem to overlook the infrastructure required to ensure the IT equipment is kept running with no power outages. According to the report in The Times, SSE and UK Power Networks, the two electricity companies that provide energy to the area in which BA has its data centre.
Sorry. You're right there. Carlos is. I don't know. I think he's trying to.
Can we cut that and start that again?
I think he's trying to breathe in his beer.
Just carry on, Owen. That's fine. Just carry on from where you left.
You have beer fast enough there, yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
I've got the giggles now.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So he said the two companies that provide energy to the area in which BA has its data center denied there had been a power surge. The real problem, said Matthew Bolch, managing director of Bytemark Hosting, was not what happened when the power went off, but what happened when it was turned back on. He asked, when was the last time somebody test rebooted a crucial database or executed a procedure like restoring a server? Was there pressure to say it'll only take an hour when really it will take a day? Barry Elliott, director of Captain Al and Consultants, said power surges were easy to protect against, but still a regular problem. We've had 12 years experience in designing and auditing data centers, and we've seen that after catastrophe IT problems, power problems are the second most common cause of data center outages. The airline industry is notorious for running outdated infrastructure long after standards have improved. In December, for instance, it was revealed that passenger booking systems used by multiple airlines were easy prey for hackers. Willman said that the sort of outdated infrastructure that could lead to a data center being brought down by a power surge was unlikely to be limited to travel industry. If you saw the amount of old infrastructure that this country is hanging off of, you wouldn't sleep at night, he said. We were leading the communications curve back 20 years ago, and the problem is that now that means that much of our infrastructure is hanging off a 25-year-old backbone. Some data centers are reaching the end of the life, and how do you refurbish that when you can't turn it off?
Like my phone.
What was that about turning it off? Yeah, honestly.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah, indeed. You could have done that better.
Now,
if you
Mariana
tried, really.
is in the chat room. Mariana's put that, because I said, what do the guys in the chat room think about this whole story? You know, whether the power outage and stuff. Mariana's put sabotage is her guess. But just, with a massive crucial system like this.
I had a conversation, I think I had it with you, actually, Al, didn't I? And to be brutally honest, I genuinely don't believe a single word of it. I don't think that any kind of power outage...
You're absolutely correct. I've got BA's IT expert here, in fact.
And he seems to
make a statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. What would he like to say on the matter? Yeah, that's very good. They're very wise words. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've had conversations with people.
Funnily enough, that speaks more sense than some of the statements that have come out, because candidly, I find it incredibly hard to believe that an organisation such as British Airways has, two data centres very close to, or the only two data centres geographically very close to each other, one down the road from each other. And you might as well just plug the whole thing into one 13-amp plug for that matter.
Basically, this is the issue, isn't it?
People were going mental at the airport.
Candidly, I just can't help but feel that.
I mean, I would have hated to have been, one of the check-in people at the BA's.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a tough day
because they had an incredibly tough day.
But no, as Sam was, as Captain Al was saying, I mean, it's just I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I mean, I've done enough of my sort of like data systems. He really is a chip off the old block, isn't he, Al?
Oh yeah. I mean, you probably can't see, but I've been handcuffed.
Right, okay. As you do. Yeah, it's
chained to be doing the show with us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's the only way we can get him on the show. But we've got Josh in our on our mitts here. You see, you sort of chained with the desk so we can't escape. But
do you think that when the Spectrum Plus 2 went out of date, that BA forgot to upgrade to Windows 98 or something, or
these big organisations who are going to admit to being hacked, are they? They're not going to admit to commercial sabotage or anything like that.
No.
So it is one of those sort of areas where they're going to go, well, yeah, it was a power surge.
Yeah.
And everybody else at Heathrow's going, really? Well, nothing's happened here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's funny that all of the other airlines, infrastructures weren't affected by this power surge, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and also, I don't know where these data centres are held, but I mean, I was under the impression that their IT resources had been farmed out. That they weren't necessarily that local anymore.
Yeah, I read that as well.
Anyway, I mean, but by the by, I mean, it's just, there's too many systems that went down and were affected by this power surge.
Not just in the UK.
No, indeed.
Worldwide.
This is it.
I think the problem is that if they really do have all of their data held in two data centres within half a mile of each other, someone for that decision needs to be taken out and educated.
Yeah,
because most people or most organisations will have their data centres spread over vast geographic
continents.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Distances, different countries, different continents, for this very reason. I mean, if the whole of the UK was to suffer some sort of, power blackout, then a lot of organisations would still be able to continue globally because, they're Canadian or Indian or wherever data centre would be still functioning.
They just switch.
The ethos of the World Wide Web, was it not?
That was indeed exactly what it was designed for, and of course, I mean, data communication between, bandwidths and everything are a million times what they used to be. I mean, even if you go back 5 years, I mean, people in their homes now can have ridiculously high-speed broadband connections.
We were just marvelling about your telephone system in.
We were,
work.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's that same sort of thing. Our phone system is a cloud phone system. I can be in fact, actually, because because I got to go to the States, I got to go to New York in November.
Have you?
I know, and I've got to literally go out there. We're actually taking we've got one of these cloud-based phone systems. You can plug it into that box, connect to any Wi-Fi system, and then you can answer the phone as if you're here in Bungie. And I'm in America. And I mean, we don't have like mass data centers and all this kind of thing, but I mean, our website exists on two different servers. Admittedly, they are both with the same company, but nevertheless, do you know what I mean? It's just none of it makes none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense at all. In fact, actually, Josh is making an awful lot more sense.
Surely, to goodness, someone at BA must have realised that having, their two, and presumably because of the amount of carnage that this has, undertaken after the event, their two only data centres within, well, let's just say a mile and be generous of each other, must have been some sort of, gross mess up.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't. As I say, it's a PR nightmare. It's about to get even worse thanks to a 4-day strike that I'm surprised, to be honest, BA are not paying through the nose to just go away at the moment.
The people at United paid the dark web to organise this to take the pressure off them.
Oh, they might have done. Yes, that is a serious option. I mean, that is a genuinely serious option.
So let that be a warning to your BA.
Yeah.
Install malware.
Yeah. So to be brutally honest, I think they've been hacked. I think somebody has broken into their system, breached security, brought their system down. But it just goes to show,
doesn't it? Something like that can bring one of the busiest airports in the world to a standstill.
But you see, this is the point that Al's making. It's ridiculous.
It didn't bring the airport to a standstill.
Oh, that's true. It just
everybody else was able to work at Heathrow hunky-dory.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. So everything else was... And of course, everybody else was being bumped onto other flights, weren't they? I mean, this is it. I mean, everybody's flights were really busy as a result of
I'm getting BA passengers. Great.
Yeah, I bet they were really happy to be flying with Harpjet, I'm quite sure.
But they're willing to spend money, and that's okay.
Well, yeah, all right. Okay.
They all brought those extra legroom seats and got the
and their fancy wallets.
Yeah. Their Gucci
so moving
wallets
on
and bags
to the next story.
I was enjoying that story.
On the independent.co.uk website, and the headline: "These are the world's biggest airlines." So who dominates world aviation? The short answer from some fascinating data crunched by the schedule specialists OAG is nobody. Judging by the size of an airline is inexact science. Do you simply look at the number of passengers flown, or should you multiply that by the distance travelled? To compile it, it's a snapshot of scale. OAG has chosen the number of seats that each airline put into the sky from February 2016 to February 2017. A blunt but effective measure to come up with the 20 highest scoring carriers. As with the English Premier League, there is a consistency to the top positions. US carriers hold the first 4, with American Airlines leading the table. It flew 251 million seats over the year, 4 times the population of the UK. One reason that aviation gives the frequent impression of being volatile, unprofitable business is that consolidation is proceeding glacially. American took the top spot after merging with US Airways, but still flies barely 5% of the worldwide total. For comparison, each of the 3 big car makers, Volkswagen, Toyota and General Motors, produces about 15% of the automobiles worldwide. Back in the skies, Delta, Southwest and United fill the next 3 places. Each of them has taken over a small rival, recently Northwest, Air Trans and Continental respectively. The first non-American carrier is Ryanair. And Matt's playing a nice video for me.
Sorry about that.
The next...
I didn't realise the time was up. Well, good news, everyone. My laptop's working again.
So, as I said, the first non-American carrier is Ryanair in 5th place, with twice as many seats as people in the UK. China Southern and China Eastern tussle in 6th and 7th place, respectively, completing the top 10. Turkish Airlines, EasyJet and Lufthansa, each carrying around 1.3 times the UK population. Emirates, whose Dubai hub has more international travellers than any other airport in the world, make only 13th place, but since almost all of its passengers are flying long distance, is significantly mightier when you look at the available seat kilometres. British Airways flew 1 seat for every person in the UK to take 15th place. Poor Nev. Comfortably ahead of Air France and at the foot of this Premier League Aeroflot, which back in the days of USSR was the biggest airline in the world. It had enough room for every UK adult, but not for the children. Drilling deeper, OAG data includes snapshot of the business routes for each of the Premier League airlines. Americans is New York LaGuardia to Chicago O'Hare. New York JFK is one end of the busiest routes for Delta to Los Angeles, and British Airways from Heathrow. Southwest is staying true to its Texan routes on routes. The busiest is Dallas Love Field to Houston Hobby, on which it started in 1971. For Ryanair, I guess Stansted to Dublin is the busiest, but the honour goes to Athens to Thessaloniki, which is well ahead of the ROC links. So there we go. That's the busiest one for Ryanair.
Wow.
For EasyJet, Gatwick is the start of its two busiest routes to Amsterdam and Geneva. Emirates' highest scorer is one of its very few short-haul links.
You can't say Amsterdam.
Can't we?
No, you have to say Schiphol.
Oh.
You can't just say Amsterdam. No, it's too normal.
Between Dubai and Kuwait. Air France does the best by mile on Paris Orly to Toulouse, but that lead could be damaged by the new high-speed rail link southwest from the French capital, which will cut more than an hour from the train journey when it opens next month. So there we go.
Indeed.
I've got the document here with all the statistics on it, and it is absolutely incredible. It goes into a huge amount of detail, and it's on OAG's website, which we might be able to put in the show notes.
Yeah, we can do. But yeah. It's worth a read, certainly.
You do need to sign up to get it, but it's a free subscription to this.
I like it.
This, well, basically stats,
right,
and data collecting website, and it is unbelievably detailed.
Oh wow!
So you can get everything from fleet orders to.
I've got the same bloody video playing.
Sounds like some light reading for you before bed, then, Al.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, maybe not.
I didn't see Royal Jet on there. Did you?
No, I didn't. No.
Anyway, moving on to the next story.
What? Careful, he'll do something rude.
We love you, Al. We love you.
Absolutely. Anyway, on to the next story. Moving on before he gets a word in edgeways. The next story is on the Traveller, the Australian Traveller website, and the headline is United. Oh dear, have you spoke this up? United Airlines could steal title of the world's longest flight with a new 18-hour US to Singapore flight route, and knowing my luck, it will be on a 757-300. United Airlines is hoping to steal the title of the world's longest flight from Qatar Airways.
Are we fed up of these stories now? I mean, does it really matter who temporarily has got the longest flight?
It's the prestige.
Apparently it matters to someone.
No,
I think
there's no prestige to it. 2.5 hours is long enough on a bleeding aeroplane, let alone spending 18 hours. Goodness sake.
But there are people that like flying for that long, aren't there? I mean, absolutely. Yeah, somebody.
18 hours, you'll have bed sores.
Well, you would have bed sores because you'll be travelling in first class.
Providing, free hemorrhoids cream for every person who checks into economy.
I think 18 hours is fine.
Right, okay. No is the short answer. If it's anything like my experience going out to the States on the 757-300.
Liz Piper in a chat room said 18 hours, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm with. That's a long
Mike
time.
has put it's who could make passengers uncomfortable the longest.
Oh, well.
Is that?
There is.
And Thomas Mandrakey's put, I think United holds that title.
Else, the story isn't really a proper story. It's not that they've done it, it's that they might do it.
Just for Jeff.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, should we get Harpjet to announce that they're going to fly to Antarctica and back without stopping to do the world's longest flight? But they might not.
They'll charge you €2 for it.
There, isn't he? I mean, he could actually, get the world's press, Ryanair to do world's longest flight. Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
That's what this story is, isn't it? It's a maybe.
They might do the longest flight.
Well, it says here that they're going to start them on the 27th of October using.
They might start them on the 27th. I mean, I think it's just a vicious rumour.
Right. They might have a power surge by then.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I think BA spun this one out to take the pressure off them. Because the world's media will be scrutinising United to see whether they really do the world's longest flight, and it'll take some of the heat off BA, won't it?
Good. Right. Yeah, I won't bother with the rest of that story then. I think we've covered it in great detail.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was enjoying that.
Yeah.
All right, so next, Owen, I think you've got the next story, haven't you?
And the next one is from thebusinessinsider.com, and this one is about Wow Air.
Oh, it's your favourite now.
Wow. Why don't I get the fun story? Sorry. Wow Air.
One airline is...
What might they be doing or might not be?
One airline is...
They might be flying from the US to Europe.
Yes,
Who knows?
US to Europe for just $55.
Wow.
On Thursday, Wow Air announced that it will offer tickets from the US to Europe for as low as $55 to commemorate the airline's 5th anniversary.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Well, you can be guaranteed that there's only going to be one seat per flight that's $55.
Okay.
But anyway, we want to celebrate our anniversary and share our great success by offering the best prices ever seen, said Wow Air's founder and CEO Skuli Mogson.
All right, okay. I'm very pleased that Owen has this story now. It's fine.
The $55 seats will be available for flights between Los Angeles and San Francisco to Amsterdam, Netherlands, Copenhagen in Denmark, Dublin, Ireland, London in England, and Berlin, Germany. In addition, the discounted tickets will be available for flights from Miami to destinations such as Brussels, Edinburgh and Frankfurt. The $55 tickets go on sale on the 1st of June, so that was yesterday.
Maybe.
Yeah, they might have gone on sale, yes.
For travel between the 11th of June and June 28th, 2017. So if you're flying anytime in the next 2 weeks, be sure and book
quick
now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And book now and fly. Wow.
Yeah. Wow Air.
In total, 100 seats from Miami and 150 seats from Los Angeles and 200 seats from San Francisco will be available at the $55 price point, so act fast. Wow Air's flights from California will be operated using its new fleet of A330-300 wide-body airliners. The Icelandic low-cost carriers made waves in January when it offered flights to Europe for as low as $69 as part of its promise to offer cheapest flights across the Atlantic. Wow, which was founded in November 2011, has grown considerably in the past few years. The airline said it transported a wow number of passengers in 2016. I'm just having fun with this now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So basically, they hope to get to 6 million passengers across the Atlantic by 2020.
So $55, that's 42 quid in today's money.
Wow, how bad is our exchange rate?
So they have a sister airline called WTF. Because that'll be what the name of the airline should be for when you're looking up for the fares in the opposite direction. Right. It'll be $55. Wow.
Yeah.
$728.
Yeah, what
WTF?
Yeah, what the flipping heck? Yeah, absolutely.
So that, like I said, that's 42 quid in English money for our European euros people. That's 48 euros. And for our Canadian listeners, Liz...
Oh, hello, we're going through the whole list now.
No, I was just saying, for
for the Japanese
Canadian, just Canadian and US, or American, sorry.
How many dong is it? How many dong?
74 Canadian dollars. I'm just thinking of our listeners.
Yeah, that's very good of you, yes.
Honestly.
That's very good of you.
That was yesterday.
But that's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm quite
savvy.
Absolutely. I'm fairly confident that all these seats will be sold by now anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely.
We should have gone online yesterday and just put a quote through, like a dummy quote, just to see how much, including all
the taxes and everything, and how much it would cost to get home.
Well, actually, I've had a slightly better idea. If I'm allowed to blow my own trumpet, and that is, why don't we go on the inaugural WOW flight to Pittsburgh? Yeah. And then phone Rick Bell up and say, "Where's the air show then, mate?" Yeah. All right.
What do you think you're doing? Yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think that is clearly the way forward. I think that's we'll do that. Yeah. Rick, we're here. Can you put on another show, please? It was very good fun.
So next story is for you, Al, and this one actually does have a little video with it.
It does indeed. Yes, it's all primed and ready.
Is this number 7, the New York Daily News?
It certainly is, yes.
Right, okay. I'm also a bit handicapped by having handcuffs on.
Right.
Okay, and I've got
Only you, Al.
Family show.
Right, okay. So, okay, this comes from the Daily News. Interesting, catchy title. Obviously, someone thought that the news wasn't news, so they'd have news. See it. United Airlines plane engine catches fire after takeoff. A bird strike shut down the engine of a United Airlines plane moments after it took off from Chicago Thursday morning, causing flames to shoot from the wing.
That's interesting. Oh, we're gone.
Oh dear, he's disappeared.
He's disappeared.
Oh dear. Well, he might come back. So, while we're waiting, there is the video taken inside the aircraft.
Looks like a daytime Star Wars.
It does look like a daytime Star Wars. It's very weird. It's just sort of repeating, really. But yeah, that is scary, isn't it?
Looks a bit backfirey, doesn't it?
It does.
It's having a few issues, that engine. I will say.
Chitty bang bang.
Yeah, bang, did.
Yeah.
Al, you still there?
Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
that's
that's
all
right. You literally went after you said a bird strike shut, and that's it. About all we got from you.
Yeah. There was something about a bird strike. Yeah. So
carry on, Al.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. United said our maintenance is reviewing the aircraft. Only one engine was shut down. Well, that's fortunate, seeing as it's a 2-engine aeroplane.
Only the one, yeah.
Our crew determined to do that. Okay, well, I'm sure they were quite determined.
Yeah, very, very
The
sure.
noise and the screaming coming from the back would have focused their minds.
Yeah.
A passenger tweeted a video of the flames, which Matt has just kindly shown.
Yeah, indeed. I'm
What
good like
to do
that,
when your plane engine blows? Well, I don't know. I mean, and bursts fire. Yeah, whoever tweeted this hasn't gone to English school, have they?
No, indeed.
What to do when your engine blows and bursts fire? Okay,
Absolutely.
Thank the pilot for landing and have a beer.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Captain Jeff has actually quite rightly pointed out it's like the flames came from the engine, not the wing.
Not the wing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Witness Marco Vargas told local WBBM News Radio he was driving near the airport when he saw the flames shooting overhead. I was driving. Yes, we've already discovered that.
Yeah.
And couldn't focus my vision on it.
Right, so
I
he crashed the
couldn't
car
identify
instead.
it, he told the station. It was a long flame shooting out of the right engine. A Chicago Aviation Department spokeswoman said the plane landed back at O'Hare at about 8:30 a.m. without incident. Another Miami-bound United flight took off at 10:40 local time, the airline spokeswoman said. Yes, and I'm sure there were several others during the course of the day, but is that news?
Oh, dear.
So it's one of those things where obviously the airflow through the engine got a bit disturbed, so you get flames out the back. It does look quite spectacular. It can make a bit of a noise, and it's probably a bit of a terminal event for the bird, but
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day,
Yeah, okay. Either that or dinner is ready.
yeah, probably a little bit overdone, a bit chewy,
Fair enough.
and you've got to pluck it yourself.
Right. Okay. Well, you know, that's not the first time.
I hope that didn't Skype too badly. I did say pluck.
Yes. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's all is well. Don't panic.
So moving on from that story, on to the next story. This is me.
It is.
It
Yes.
is.
Afraid so.
On the CNBC.com website. And the headline, Russia shocks airline industry with maiden flight of new passenger plane. So Russia has surprised the airline industry by announcing the successful test flight of a new medium-range passenger plane. Irkut Corporation, itself owned by the state-controlled United Aircraft Corporation, said its MC-21-300 has successfully flown for 30 minutes at a height of 1,000 meters and at a speed of 300 kilometers per hour. The flight mission is accomplished and the flight went in the normal mode, and there are no obstacles revealed preventing the test's continuation. The lead test pilot Oleg Kono Kononenko is quoted saying on the Irkut Corp website on Sunday. With a capacity for between 163 and 211 passengers and a maximum flight range of 6,000 kilometres, the MC-21-300 will attempt to compete with the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320. Irkut said global demand for that area of aviation should translate to around 15,000 new aircraft worldwide across the next 20 years. The firm claimed the new plane is superior to existing rivals, highlighting its extensive use of polymer composite materials. The plane maker also lauded the new generation engines, which it said reduced fuel consumption, emitted lower noise and pumped out less hazardous emissions. The calculated reduction of direct operational costs for MC-21 is 12 to 15% lower than its counterparts, the statement added. The program cost of the plane was estimated by Russian state media at 164 billion rubles, or $4.6 billion in 2014, but delivery dates have slipped since then. Irkut said that it has an initial portfolio of 175 firm orders, which will maintain production capacity in the coming years. Don't know what to make of this jet. I don't know. It's kind of.
I quite like the look of the design of the cockpit there with the nose. It kind of looks like, for those of you who are listening in the podcast, it kind of looks like an eagle's beak.
Yeah.
Kind of a very pointed nose.
It actually, the kind of the front part of the cockpit looks like a kind of Dream or an A350 kind of style window, but then the two side windows look like a Boeing style.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hybrid. I mean, it kind of looks a cross between, I don't know, an A350 and a 737 maybe.
Absolutely. If you are listening to the audio version, this show obviously...
What a dreadful combination.
That's
like two cousins getting together for the night.
Lovely. Okay, only you could get away with that.
Airbus and Boeing, cousins?
Absolutely, I can't see that one.
Interesting aircraft, though. Get yourself on to YouTube. There's a video on YouTube that they put on, and you can see this and have a look and see what you think of this. See what you make of this aircraft.
Absolutely.
So that's the MC-21. See what you think of that.
In other news, going back to a story we were talking about earlier, the main man, the legend that is Micah, has taken himself off to the Wow website and attempted to book himself a flight to and from London. Now, his mistake may be that he added his carry-on and checked in a piece of luggage. That may be where he went wrong. And apparently the return trip only came out at $1,169. So much for the 59.
I tried from San Francisco to Gatwick. And what was I quoted?
Hello, Matt Caton.
I was quoted £349.
Right. I mean, that's still not bad, but
that is only one way. That's one way.
What? Oh my goodness.
But they did only state in that news article that it was from the US to Europe.
Right.
It didn't say it was from
London.
Europe to the US.
Yeah. But they probably don't class London as Europe anymore because it's like, the Brexit. Oh, I said the word. Does that mean I get told off now? I said the word Brexit, everyone. Brace yourself.
B word.
I'm going to be really controversial now and say Theresa May.
Uh-oh.
I know. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, moving on to the next story, which is for you, Matt.
Just before you move on.
Oh, what's that, Al?
I'm going to put you on the spot, Carlos.
Oh, you know.
Oh, yes.
Oh, good. I like this.
So this Russian-designed aeroplane, I mean, obviously it's going to be targeting Boeing 737, Airbus A320 territory.
Yeah.
Which European airline flies the Sukhoi jet, which is slightly smaller?
Oh, I know this.
Oh, Air Inter.
Good.
Air what?
Air Inter.
Oh, did was that correct?
That's not the one I'm thinking of.
No, the one I'm thinking of is Irish.
That's the one I'm thinking of too.
Really?
Yeah.
Irish. What, Air Lingus?
No, CityJet.
Oh,
CityJet.
Irish airlines are available.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it's
not. There are many Irish
What
airlines.
I'm trying to make is that whilst some quarters of the world will look at this and go, well, it's only ever going to be sold in the old Eastern Bloc and all the rest of it. The Russians have been making some quite marketable aeroplanes, and from what I understand, apart from a few little oddities, the Sukhoi jet is actually quite a inexpensive and well-liked machine.
Really? Oh wow. Okay. So
I mean,
is it? Do you think it's a player, if you like, in the market that we kind of need to keep our eyes, on? I mean, do you think they could do big things? I mean,
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're going to be possibly in the sort of second tier of aircraft manufacturers, but I do think that there will be lots of smaller airlines who will look to the sort of second tier manufacturers and go, oh, actually this will do all that we want it to do for far less than the the Boeing or Airbus badged variety.
Yeah.
And of course, if we think back not that many years ago, that's where Embraer took a huge chunk of the market especially when they had the Embraer 145, which sort of revolutionized, really, especially in the United States,
regional flying,
city flying, effectively prop routes and converted them into jet routes. And then of course they've got the 170 and the 190 and so forth, which have been phenomenally successful, certainly in the United States. So a relatively small, and I wouldn't say insignificant, but certainly second or third fiddle aircraft manufacturer suddenly stole a huge march on the bigger manufacturers in a very key market. So I think it's probably.
And another good point is that you've got Boeing and Airbus supplying to people who can afford to buy ridiculous numbers of aircraft and giving them massive discounts. So it brings the cost of aircraft down for the people who can't afford to buy these on par to what the other bigger airlines are paying for their aircraft who Boeing and Airbus manufactured. If you can't afford to buy something in bulk like that, then these second tier or just as good quality aircraft are a very good way to go.
Indeed. I just
because not everybody needs to shop at IKEA for their aeroplanes, do they?
Or Marks and Spencer's.
Right. Yes. Don Sebastian, seeing as I'm offending and talking about politics, let's go completely crazy and mention, the world famous one. And Don Sebastian suggested that I think it's basically just Trump's plane painted over. But there we are. I think that's just because we want to belittle the Trump. As if we would. Anyway, moving on. I shall take the next story then, if I may.
Flight Global.
This is on the Flight Global website, and the headline is Air New Zealand delays A320 Nero deliveries. Neo. What did I say? Nero. What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Nero. Oh, Cafe
CD
Nero.
burning wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, Air New Zealand has pushed back the delivery of its first re-engined Airbus A320 family aircraft to the second half of 2018. The Star Alliance carrier disclosed the delay in an Investor Day presentation. This will now see its first A320 Neo enter the fleet in July 2018, followed in September by the first A321 Neo. As a result, the carrier will now take a total of 6 A320 Neo family aircraft in the fiscal year ending 2019 June, including 4 on-operating leases. It will then take 2 more in the following year, one of which will be leased. The delay will allow the A321 Neos to be fitted with a redesigned interior, carrying 214 seats instead of the originally planned 209. Always nice to cram in a few more. To cover the changes in the delivery schedule, the carrier has extended leases on 5 A320 CEOS. Now, what are they? What are the CEOS?
Current engine.
Current engine option fleets in its fleet. The re-engined A320s and the A321s will replace the carrier's 12 A320s that are used on Trans-Tasman routes. Trans-Tasman routes. Flight Fleet's analyzer show that these jets are between 11 and 14 years old, while the A320s used on domestic routes are 6 years or younger. The Air New Zealand also disclosed that it has leases on 2 Boeing 777-200ERs expiring in 2020. It also holds early termination options on 1 777-300ER in 2019, as well as 2 of the domestic A320s.
Now, the 320 Neos, there's been a few issues with them.
Have they?
Yeah, in the last few weeks, there's been a few stories that have been on.
Right.
The
like what?
It's actually not with the aircraft itself. It's been with the engines.
Yeah,
they've had a few issues with the Pratt & Whitney PW1000G on their 320neos. A Spirit had an issue with those. They couldn't fly them above 30,000 feet because the bleed air system froze shut on occasions due to cold temperatures, and the same problems have been faced as well by Indigo as well, who also use the Neo. It's not actually, like I said, it's not a problem with the actual aircraft itself, just the engine. But they have had a few issues because the NEO, obviously the new engine option, it's
in the name. Considering
it's in the name, new engine option. So it's obviously it's been a bit troublesome for Airbus. But there we go. So next story, moving on, is for Owen.
And the next one is also from Flight Global, and it continues the Airbus trend. We're doing all Airbus stories today.
Especially for Al.
Malaysia Airlines A330 returns to Melbourne after bomb threat. And Malaysian Airlines Airbus A330-300 returned to Melbourne shortly after takeoff on the 31st of May after a passenger made bomb threats and attempted to enter the cockpit. The aircraft had departed Melbourne at 23:11 local time for Kuala Lumpur, and about 4 kilometres from the Melbourne airport, however, a male passenger left his seat, claimed that he had a bomb on board, and attempted to gain access to the cockpit, said Victoria Police Superintendent Troy Langdon at a press conference. Cabin crew managed to subdue the passenger, and the flight crew elected to return to Melbourne for the authorities to deal with the situation. The aircraft landed at 23:47 local time, a half an hour after the departure, and heavily armed tactical officers entered the jet and removed the passenger. Melbourne Airport confirmed the incident in a statement, adding the several incoming flights were diverted, while all departing aircraft were held until the incident was resolved. There appears to be no imminent threat to passengers, staff, or the public, and the investigation is ongoing, Victoria Police said in a separate statement. The airline and authorities are investigating the incident, while Melbourne Airport warns there may be ongoing delays throughout the day as a result of the earlier shutdown. So not exactly amazing news, but I suspect that might be just someone who's a little bit crazy.
This was on the Aviation Herald, actually.
Yeah, I think the important thing to take out of this was that there wasn't a viable bomb. In fact, there was no bomb at all. And I think the guy's attempts at trying to gain access to the flight deck were fairly primitive, to say the least. In as much as I could establish, he was just banging on the door. So I think the
you're not going to fit far in banging on those doors.
No.
Definitely not. And
actually, I think the report that I read on Aviation Herald, Simon's fantastic site that I go on quite a lot, that said that the passengers as well helped to subdue the guy. Yeah. They all sort of jumped in and kind of helped. Yeah.
Well done, everyone.
Kind of begs a question, if put in that situation, if something like that happened and there was only one person just being an idiot, would you kind of have a go at,
I'd like to think in that situation that I would essentially grow a pair and do what was required. I don't know.
The reason I ask is because Gemma asked me this the other day that if the situation arose and there was someone being a prat on a plane, would you get up and say something? And I just said if I was tired, I would probably be very irritable. So I would.
Tired Carlos could make for an interesting experience.
Well,
for everyone, really.
With the amount of people that are on board. I kind of generally go with the rule of 1%. If you have 1% of the population doing X job, you're going to have at least 2 of them on board in my case, and police. Yeah, you get quite a lot of police on board. So I'd like to think that they might.
I know. Obviously, given what Al does for a job, obviously, I'm confident I know the answer, and obviously. Al would, without question, muck in. I'm quite confident of that. It's
absolutely, yeah. And I think that to be honest, in the absence of any sort of off-duty, police people or anything like that, I think if certainly as a result, as since September the 11th, people or passengers now know that they have a responsibility to themselves as well.
Yeah.
So if something is taking place, I'm pretty certain that many of them will join in, if nothing else, for self-preservation.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. It's as I say, I'd like to think that in a situation like that, I'd grow a pair and get really stuck in. But I can't promise. I can't promise. Having never been in that situation, I'm not quite sure.
Well, I mean, a lot of the cabin crew, and especially it seems in this part of the world, in Asia, do seem to get martial arts training of some sort. Was it Korean Airlines?
Yeah, that is Korean Airlines.
Was there a story about that recently? Yeah.
Actually, Masha has had a great point here in the chat room. So, general rule of thumb: if someone actually wants to bomb you, they're probably not going to announce it beforehand. They'll probably just let it, set it off. I can't imagine.
But, I mean, if this was a United Airlines flight, I mean, the passenger would have had the kicked out of them anyway before they'd even,
that's just by the cabin crew.
Yeah.
Hey now. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But then again, I mean, obviously, Owen, in your, I mean, the same presumably would apply to you, Owen, because obviously, you're familiar with. I mean, if you were just on a flight, you weren't actually on duty or anything like that. I know damn well that the training, in the same way that it would for Captain Al, I know damn well that your training would just kick in, and you'd be getting stuck in with them. I'm pretty sure you would. No.
I just have visions of Owen beating them with a panini.
Okay, right, yeah, maybe not.
Before this breaches security chapters in various different manuals, let's move swiftly on to the next story.
Okay, this one is yours.
This one, I did the last one.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry, that's Al.
So is this Josh's turn, is it?
Yeah, Josh is doing this one, I think. Yeah,
Al, this is yours.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hello, Al.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, am I on the next story?
Yeah, you are, I'm afraid.
Flight
yes.
Global, yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay. I'll just call that. So, my son has found it extremely entertaining watching himself on the internet. Right. So I apologise for the various distractions. I've managed to shed myself of the handcuffs.
Well done.
That's, and I can move swiftly on.
That's a new record for you, isn't it?
Almost seamlessly onto the next story.
Okay, good.
So, level fleet to reach 5 aircraft next year, IAG chief. This comes from the Flight Global website. IAG Chief Executive Willie Walsh has confirmed that the group's new budget low-cost carrier, Level, it's a strange name, I must be honest, but anyway, will expand its fleet next year and may add new bases to its network. Walsh, who appeared at an event marking the inauguration of Level's service from Barcelona to Los Angeles today, states that the carrier will increase its fleet to 5 aircraft in 2018 and adds, "We're considering other European bases for the operation." He did not disclose the type or origin of the aircraft. Barcelona-based Level currently operates a fleet of 2 Airbus A330s provided by sister company Iberia. The carrier will add services to Oakland, Punta Cana and Buenos Aires later this month. Walsh describes Level's sales as being well ahead of expectations in all markets. Well, he's hardly going to say they're crap sales, is he? So,
no, indeed. Yeah.
Some 134,000 tickets have been sold since Level's unveiling on the 17th of March, says IEG. Level is co-chairing with One World carrier American Airlines on US flights from Barcelona. So it's an interesting concept because they're using an Iberia aeroplane with Iberia crew. So there's not a lot of low cost to that low cost setup. No. So I'm not quite sure how much the tickets are, but one would imagine that they're not $55 either.
No. Okay.
We covered the story about Level Air, or whatever you want to call it, a few weeks back because we kind of read that. I think that's when we had Nev on.
Right. Okay. I don't know. I missed that one.
Should have been Neville Air.
Well, I mean, I did see one of their aircraft in Barcelona the other day, actually.
Oh, really?
On the Level.
Very good.
Are they? They're using wet leased Iberia aircraft, then, are they?
Yeah. That they are. They are
so really,
wet leasing Iberia aircraft. And
it is
crewed by Iberia cabin crew and pilots.
And it's under IAG. So really, it's just Iberia with different paperwork.
Yes. It's been in the paint shop, had a respray.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the cabin crew have their own uniform or if it's just like a
shirt and tie.
an Iberia uniform with like the Iberia Tipex out and just level written on the front.
Okay, as you do.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Just actually looking up. In all serious, you bunch of hooligans. Looking up level, and their fleet, obviously, like I said, consists of 2 aircraft at the minute, but they're obviously getting more. They do have a premium economy cabin in their aircraft.
Ew.
And
that's definitely not low cost.
No, and the destinations, they've got Los Angeles, Oakland International Airport in the US, Barcelona, Punta Cana, Argentina, and they have a frequent flyer program with Avios, so that'll please Nev. He's a big Avios man.
Okay.
Avios is the point system that you.
Oh, I see.
You accrue Avios
all
points
right,
once you can use them to spend on anything.
Nev's got about 10.5 billion.
Okay.
Yeah. So moving on to the last bit this week is a top 10.
Is it actually top 5? Isn't it?
No, it's a top 10.
Just before you move on, then. So in summary, they use expensive aeroplane, expensive crew. They have expensive seats, and they're part of an expensive loyalty program, and they're low cost.
Yeah,
supposedly.
Yeah,
that's operations just gotta be bleeding money.
Those are the rumours.
So we have a top 10 this week to finish off the news segment.
Yeah.
This is on the telegraph.co.uk website. This is the top 10 worst airline PR disasters of all time.
And are we starting at number 10 and working our way up? So scroll down to the bottom, everyone.
I'm ready to go at number 10.
Okay, here we go then.
So in at number 10, it's American Airlines with their balls up over a buggy. So remember this from a few weeks back when one of the flight crew hit a woman with a kid's buggy.
What?
And the airline did somehow try to recover from this unfortunate predicament, but it was one of those horrible events that happened after the United event. But this is American Airlines anyway at number 10.
Okay, in at number 9, please, Owen.
This is United gets its leggings in a twist.
It's what?
Leggings.
I think we all remember this. This was in about March when there was a row over passengers' clothing. And
that's right. It was the people that were on standby,
leggings,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
and basically they tried to recover by just enforcing, saying they enforced a dress code.
Okay,
which isn't,
right. And I'm almost terrified to do this, but anyway, in at number 8, please, Captain Al.
Number 8, United we stand. Unless we haul you off screaming. Of course, this is the one that everybody in the world knew about.
Yes, it did.
United Airlines sunk to a new low on April the 8th when they forcibly removed a passenger on a flight from Chicago to Louisville. And the world knew about it within 24 hours.
Absolutely. Please, the legend that is Carlos Stebbings. Number 7, please.
Number 7, it's Pakistan Airlines employees take the problem by the horns. An airline safety record is a crucial part of its viability. The best way to demonstrate airworthiness is via flawless facts and figures. The worst is via the image of some of your staff conducting a superstitious ritual in the hope that it will still help their employer.
Always nice, yes.
But as such, the scene which was in the Pakistani capital Islamabad last December when the crew were caught on camera slaughtering a black goat next to an aircraft preparing for a domestic flight, hoping that the sacrifice would ward off evil spirits. It goes without saying that the dead farmyard animal was not a core part of the Civil Aviation Authority's handbook.
Okay. Right, yeah, moving swiftly on. Number 6, please, Owen.
Number 6 is Qantas's social media dream becomes a nightmare. Australia's national carrier also discovered the immediate online connectivity with your customer base can not always be a good thing. The airline chose November 2011 as the ideal time to ask would-be passengers to tweet about their dream luxury in-flight experience.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there. With the previous one, Micah is just a great thing, and then he said they were just helping out with the meal service. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, carry on, Owen.
That was well done.
Yeah. All right, okay, we'll move straight on. Please, Captain, number 5.
EasyJet falls foul of anti-social media. Back in September 2013, when Twitter was nobody's best friend, staff made a complete and utter gaffe when they intercepted a tweet from a passenger expressing concern about the fact that the flight was running 90 minutes late. He said he was going to miss his connection, and so was the friend who was travelling with him. When EasyJet decided to remove the passenger from the flight, they fell foul of one little detail. The passenger was a lawyer, and he pointed out the error of their ways.
In a very expensive way, no doubt. In at number 4, please, the legend that is Carlos.
O'Leary opens his mouth. Many of Ryanair's notorious...
is that it?
That's just it.
Just
anytime O'Leary opens his mouth.
PR disaster. O'Leary opens his mouth.
Many of Ryanair's notorious shock tactics have been associated with Michael O'Leary, the airline's cantankerous CEO, who's never been stuck for a phrase likely to attract headlines. Many of his utterances, from suggesting that passengers might have to pay to use onboard toilets, to mooting the prospect of standing-only tickets, which would allow the carrier to cram in more customers, have gathered acres of newsprint in a wealth of clicks. But his broadside was in the wake of an Icelandic ash cloud, and which saw planes across Europe grounded in 2010. Took some beating. Furious at the thought that Ryanair might have to compensate passengers for a situation beyond its control, he said, "You're not getting a refund, so off.
Go away." Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, we'll leave that there. I'm going to throw this one to Captain Al.
Oh, right, okay. Number 3, Ryanair crew sees red. There was a time when Ryanair seemed to be the embodiment of the idea there's no such thing as bad publicity. PR stunt was too cheap. No blast of a self-sell too tacky. Witness the 2012 decision to put out adverts emblazoned with the words "Red Hot Fares" and "Crew," which saw cheap prices printed along the backsides of female cabin crew.
Oh my.
The airline said all the employees in the photos had consented to the promotion. The gun from their head was airbrushed out of the picture. The Advertising Standard Agency was unimpressed and banned the ads, declaring them that they were likely to cause widespread offence. Well, actually, I did see them, and the bums were not that widespread. They were carefully chosen.
Okay. Actually, we say this. I do remember a story that going back to my sort of base of what I do for a living, and I think it was a bus company up north that got basically a picture of a very buxom lady, and across the bottom it said, "You can ride me for £3." Anyway, moving on to story number 2, please, Owen.
You just have the standard sort of $9.99 Ryanair sort of price over a lady's chest, and it could just go, "Ryanair, your breast choice."
Okay, moving on. Number 2, please.
Don't be giving them ideas.
Quick, go.
Aeroflot has taken a task over body image. Russia's national carrier found itself flying through a public relations turbulence in April after being taken to court by 2 long-serving female members of its cabin crew. 2 of the cabin crew claimed that they have been sidelined and effectively had their wages cut by an internal decision to have better paid international flight staff exclusively by employees under a certain weight and dress size. They told us all that only the young and thin will fly abroad for Aeroflot, this cabin crew alleged. Astonishingly, an Aeroflot official appeared to confirm her complaint. Aeroflot is a premium airline, and part of the reason people pay for tickets is the appearance of its employees, a spokesperson announced at a press conference. 92% of our passengers want to see stewardesses who fit into the clothes sizes that we are talking about here. Oh my God. That's absolutely terrible. But at number 1.
Yes, but yes, straight in at number 1, and I think it's only because it's
about fitting into stewardesses there. I missed that. Did I slightly mishear that?
No, it's your hearing. It's fine. It's your hearing. Yes, at number 1, purely and simply because it is current, in everyone's faces. It's still going on now. We were talking about it earlier.
It's in.
And it is number one.
Number one, it's the story everyone knows about on the social media pages and the news right now. It's Nev's favourite airline, BA. The headline, British Airways goes into meltdown.
Oh dear.
So this is all about the recent IT failure that grounded most of BA's flights out of Heathrow and Gatwick. And, well, it's just been all over the news and we all know about it. So that is the number one bad PA disaster. The PR disaster.
It does say BA have been in a deeply apologetic mode for the last week and a half.
Have they, heckers like? They haven't really done much, but they sort of more or less denied anything was wrong for ages.
So actually, this actually does say at the end of this particular statement here that BA, the compensation bill could reach
billions of pounds,
over £100 million
my goodness me,
for what happened the other day. So there we go. That was our top 10 list of worst airline
one
PR
thing they haven't
disasters.
taken the factor off there is that they've not factorised for all the people who reckon that they were going to fly with BA but weren't able to make the booking, are they?
Well, no, indeed.
So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, although I suppose you could argue that because of that, you know, they ended up booking with Virgin Atlantic or Ryanair or someone else. I mean, I suppose, you know, if the website goes down, the website goes down. I mean, you don't sort of, if you're after a sort of summer bargain, let's say with Ryanair, because their website always crashes every time they've got a sale on. You know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's just like you think, well, if I really want to go that badly, you'll find another airline if it goes down. So, I don't know. Anyway, we should stop talking about BA because Nev will be terribly offended.
He's he actually Never's so offended. He's actually he left the country this week.
Yeah, he's left the country this week. Yes, he did fly, but he was one of the few people I think managed to get away with BA. But anyway,
well, all publicity is good publicity, isn't that right?
I mean, I have to say, to be honest, Carlos, you've really, you know, missed this, you know, opportunity to have as the number one PR disaster something that involves you. I would have thought that you would have said that the number one PR disaster was Air Canada only upgrading you in one direction.
No, I appreciate it very much.
Because, I mean, you certainly looked very despondent when you saw that you were sat in economy on the way back.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I think you'd become, you know, accustomed to, you know, living the life of luxury.
Yeah.
Eating my food off actual plates.
You
with
only get that with
cutlery
4 stripes.
And,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was nice. No.
I bet.
No.
Oh dear. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to take a very, very brief break. We're going to be right back after these short messages.
Find this and other great shows at the Aviation Media Network.
thevoicesinyourhead.com. The Plain Talking UK podcast is a voluntary project that aims to keep you informed with the latest aviation-related stories from newswires across the globe.
Producing our content does cost money though. If you enjoy our show, why not help us keep on the air by making a donation towards the server and website hosting fees through PayPal. Any contributions would be greatly appreciated.
Are you an Amazon user? If so, why not do your shopping through the link on our website? There's no cost to yourself and Amazon pay us a small referral fee on qualifying purchases.
To find out more about the show and to meet the team, take yourself to our website www.plaintalkinguk.com
or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/plaintalkinguk, on Twitter via @plaintalkinguk, or get in touch via email on podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. Thanks for listening.
Flybe 5823, Trent Dane for 23R Manchester, Wizz Air 6X, climb flight level 210, direct to Bretlands Park. United 123, maintain 280 knots. London 2DME, turn right onto Bravo, link, 21 join Alpha, hold at Mora, Speedbird 472, LOC/DME, approach runway 27 left. Follow the green stand 544.
That's enough air traffic control for today, Nat. Bedtime.
Aviation media has long been the domain of the newspapers and magazines. Well, not anymore. I'm Steve Vischer.
And I'm Grant McCarran, and we're bringing aviation right into your radio.
Yes, we're making aviation cool and interesting for everyone.
Hang on, aviation's always been cool. Check this out.
How cool is this?
Grant, turn that down. Here at Plane Crazy Down Under, we've got pilots, engineers, air traffic controllers, industry leaders, even politicians dropping by to talk to us about the amazing world of aviation right here in Australia and occasionally New Zealand as well.
Wow, that's cooler than I thought, mate.
Find us at planecrazydownunder.com, on iTunes, or lurking about on other people's podcasts just like this one.
We've got crazy accents and lots of great aviation content.
And we promise not to talk about the cricket.
No, never. Not the cricket.
Quack, 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 quack.
What is cricket anyhow?
Something we win a lot. Oh, there
We're back.
We are indeed.
We are actually back. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. So we need. Do you know what? We keep saying to Jeff, we need a jingle, an APG jingle.
We
to put
do.
in
We
our
do.
break. So Jeff, I know you're in a chat room.
Yeah.
We need you and Dr. Steph and Nick, and if you can find Miami Rick, to get together to do us a little little jingle to go into our breaks. That'd be really good. So yeah, God, that light is really bright, isn't it? Makes me look like I've got a huge suntan.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so we've got.
That's what Joseph and Mary said, wasn't it?
So we're going to do some military news then. Then we're going to have
okay.
we've got some listener feedback to announce as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So if everyone's ready, we're going to do these 3 stories.
Here we go.
So the first news story on the military segment for this week, and it was kind of not sad news, but it is kind of unfortunate news, really. And it's on the aviationist.com site, and it's one of the last remaining Sea Vixen's jet. The Sea Vixen, which made an emergency landing at Yeovilton, UK, at one of the air shows last week. And the last remaining Sea Vixen, X-Ray Papa 924, Foxy Lady, performed an emergency landing at Royal Naval Air Station, Yeovilton, on May the 27th. The Sea Vixen, the first British two-seater built aircraft type to break the sound barrier, was in a dive in the early 1950s, was returning to its home base after taking part in the Duxford Air Show near Cambridge when it experienced a failure that prevented the undercarriage being lowered, forcing the pilot to perform an emergency gear-up landing. Stephen Canning, a reader of the Aviationist, filmed the successful belly landing at Yeovilton. The clip shows the pilot releasing the canopy as soon as the Sea Vixen touches the runway in order to escape the cockpit as fast as possible, and the aircraft sliding up the runway pretty much under control and closely followed by emergency vehicles until it comes to a rest. Foxy Lady first flew on September the 23rd, 1963, was delivered to 899 Squadron at Royal Naval Air Service Yeovilton on December the 18th, 1963. It was retired from active service in August 1971, and it's currently operated by Fly Navy Heritage Trust Navy Wings from Yeovilton. Now, it's a real shame, really. Obviously, like I said, the last airworthy one of these aircraft flying, and obviously I've read some reports after this that said that although it has been damaged, they do fully intend on getting the damage repaired and maybe having it back into the air show circuit before the end of this year.
I mean, I'll tell you what, just having been watching that as you were reading that story, Carlos, if you are listening to the audio version, that clip came from the Aviationist, and then if you search the Sea Vixen, you'll almost certainly find that video. It's on their YouTube channel as well. But that is a one heck of an impressive landing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my goodness me, because it was a hydraulic failure, wasn't it? That's why they lost.
Couldn't lower the landing.
Lower the landing. I mean, it was just
really good. Fair dues to the pilot of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
These Sea Vixens used to operate from the British aircraft carriers, and they were capable of flying at Mach 1.
Wow,
but they are a fine-looking aircraft, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was 145 of these actually built, used by the Royal Navy. But like I said, there's this one which is the only flying version, and there is also, just as an offshoot from this, there is one of these in the Royal Navy colours in the Aviation Museum in Malta.
Okay, right, okay. You and your Malta Aviation Air Museum, honestly, what you like. Okay, I'm going to take the next story then. This is on the ITV.com website, and the headline is Restored and Repainted RAF Aircraft to go on display in Yorkshire. A newly repainted RAF aircraft is to go back on display. Yes, it is in military grey before you start, Al. At the Yorkshire Air.
Don't worry about me, I'm just having rhubarb crumble and custard and ice cream. So
while we're doing the story. Okay, the Blackburn Buccaneer. Is that right, Buccaneer? Yeah, that's right.
Buccaneer,
which was built and tested in Yorkshire in 1964, has been given back in its original livery, which is quite nice. The aircraft has been at the museum in Elvington since it flew into retirement in 1991. First flew on the 5th of June 1964, the Holm on Spalding Moor, York, and then went to the Royal Aircraft Experimental Test Facility in Bedford, and then on to HMS Eagle for sea trials, including work on HMS Hermes and HMS Ark Royal. In 1965, it went to the USA for hot weather testing, and on its return flight became a record breaker by becoming the first Fleet Air Arm aircraft to fly the transatlantic route non-stop and unrefueled from Goose Green to Lossiemouth. There's no doubt that the Buccaneer XN974 now looks absolutely pristine in the striking sea grey colours with white undersides and Fleet Air Arm decals, as if it had just come off the production line at Blackburn's Brough factory. It really is a thing of beauty, and it's a tribute to the skills of Andre Tempest as an aircraft painter and Grant Sparks and other aircraft heritage volunteers who have contributed greatly to the project. And I'll just pop a little picture up of that there, which it really is. I mean, they've done a nice job of it.
Yeah.
It's not quite military grade. There is a hint of green as well, Al. It's very exciting.
Do you have time for me to tell you a little Buccaneer story?
Of course, always have time.
Okay, well, going back to the Gulf War #1, a good friend of mine was with the Air Force on the Buccaneers. And, of course, everybody was all sort of tooling up to go out to the Middle East to undertake the Gulf War. And my mate was very despondent because the Buccaneers were about to be disbanded. And quite candidly, as a 1960s aeroplane, they weren't going to have any involvement in this little fracas in the Middle East. So it's fair to say that the guys on the Buccaneers were quite peed off with it.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks into the Gulf War, when the wind started to whip up and all of the high-tech jets from both the US and the UK all started to get grounded with sand and so forth, and you know it's like when you get sand in your cracks, it's a bit annoying.
Right, yes.
So so the next thing, my friend is getting called up in their 1960s jet to go out to the Gulf and to undertake some bombing. And actually, the Buccaneer did a fantastic job in the Gulf War,
really?
Because it was completely unaffected. The technology was so archaic that the sand, was the least of their problems, really.
Just a bit of dust, yeah.
And they were able to undertake some quite spectacular bombing missions, whilst all of the super duper snazzy jets were all grounded. So I'll elaborate slightly if I can. There was an incident that took place where the wife of a aforementioned friend was contacted by the station commander, and she immediately thought, oh no, her husband had either been captured or shot down and whatever. But no, he'd simply sent messages through dispatches saying that he needed his squash racket sending out.
I love it.
It's fair to say that when my friend returned back to the UK, she killed him.
Right, yes. So ironically, it's a shame he wasn't lost in battle. Yes, so there we are, yes.
Yeah.
But the old aircraft
did an absolutely blinding job in the Gulf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. These were actually replaced by the Panavia Tornado which is what came in after the Buccaneers were phased out.
Yeah, but the tornado all fell apart with the sand. That was part of the problem.
Yeah, indeed. Part of the issue, yeah.
That's
so
incredible.
The last one, Owen, if you want to take that.
So the next one is finally a Boeing story. Woo! Woo!
And can I just mention that I've sacrificed the melting of my ice cream to tell you that story.
Oh, no.
So I hope that you appreciate that.
We did.
Always, Al,
We did.
absolutely. Yeah, and any kind of food crisis, obviously, we're aware of the importance there. And once again, as always,
I'll send you
thank
some fresh
for your
ice cream in the
dedication.
post to replace it, Al.
Right, okay.
Oh, Britain is cold enough. You could probably do that.
Well, that's true. You could indeed. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so this is from RT.com, and this says Boeing's stealthy Pegasus air tankers to refuel USAF jets in complete darkness. So, the first air tanker in world military history that can refuel planes in complete darkness is undergoing tests ahead of the expected US Air Force acquisition. A total of 179 of Boeing's KC-46 Pegasus tankers will be delivered by the end of 2017. The new fleet of aerial gas stations are set to replace their predecessors, the KC-135 Stratotankers, which have been in service since the Eisenhower administration. Wow.
They've been in service a while then.
Yeah. In an emergency, the new KC-46 is also capable of carrying over 100 troops, 54 medical patients, or a 65,000 pounds, 29,500 kilos of cargo, reports CNN Money. The US Department of Defense has allotted $3.1 billion of its requested 2018 budget of $639.1 billion to pay for just 15 of the tankers. The Pegasus boasts an array of aerial countermeasures to defend against anti-air missiles. It also houses a suite of high-definition cameras and infrared lights which allow it to carry out stealthy mid-air refueling operations. The gas station attendant commands a high-tech system which includes a stereoscopic cameras with 185 degree... Stereoscopic. Thank you very much. Stereoscopic.
Yes, stereoscopic. Move on.
Yes, special cameras with 185 degree visibility projected through 3D glasses to give the boom operator complete depth perception. The project has been given somewhat of a coup for Boeing, as US military top brass have remained skeptical throughout the project's development. The first successful lights-out test was carried out in December when the KC-46 refueled a massive C-17 cargo plane in pitch-black skies.
Not as sceptical as the guy who's on the rope who gets hauled out to clean the windscreen.
Yes, I have to say it's the story that Al just told us a little while ago has been met with great disappointment because everybody was expecting it to be some kind of hideous joke, and although I have to say maybe when the show finishes, Al, perhaps you could tell us the story about the dwarf, the nun, and the roller skates. I would very much like to hear that story, but not right now. Let's finish the show first.
Yes.
Well, absolutely, and I do have to point out that story emanates from Amsterdam, so you can fill in the gaps yourself.
Oh boy, okay. Oh, all right, never mind. Yeah, absolutely, I'm there. And moving on. Okay, good.
Yeah, so that's a fairly amazing story.
Yeah.
It's amazing in the fact that
Who
they're actually...
balls?
Sorry?
Who mentioned ping pong balls?
No, nobody mentioned.
Anyway, it is amazing, isn't it, Owen? To
Well, no,
refuel at night.
That's not the amazing thing.
Okay.
The amazing thing is that they're replacing the KC-135s that were they derived from the 707s, am I right? Those Stratocruisers. It's amazing that they're replacing them only now, after how
so
many
years,
decades.
Can you remember the B-52 we were standing under at Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh,
a few weeks back, and they've given them another 50+ years of life, which is just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Incredible. Yeah, it's.
So we have got an email that we had into the the studio today, and we had some, because we do like feedback. We don't get much feedback, so when we do get some feedback, we've
actually got some viewers and listeners left. Then, have we?
We do get people listening to the show.
Nobody's more surprised than us, Al. I won't lie.
So we had a nice, lovely email from Richard Nash.
If the truth be told, they're only sitting here filling in the gaps because APG starts more or less straight after us. So they're only sitting here watching us because they're waiting for that to start.
I didn't realise they were doing after us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Killing time.
Yeah. So we had an email sent in from Richard Nash, and he was talking about...
I've just had a brilliant idea. Sorry, Richard Nash. I do apologise.
Exactly, apologise.
Why don't you see how long you can spin Plain Talking UK out for to delay APG?
I couldn't do that. To the legend,
2 or 3 hours left in this.
Okay.
If we all get Googling, we can find some old stories that we can resurrect.
There are definitely more Ryanair stories.
No, it's fine. No, do you know, I wouldn't allow...
Right Flyer takes to the skies. This Kansas Express.
The legend that is Captain Jeff, I could not do that to him. I would kill the stream personally. I couldn't do it to him. It's not on.
So can we get on?
Yeah,
then?
all right, yeah. Anyway, you're going to read the email now, completely uninterrupted. Here we go. Yeah.
So, as I was saying 4 years ago...
That was very Terry Wogan, by the way.
So, as I was saying 4 years ago, on BBC Radio 2, we had an email from Richard Nash, and this was about a story that we had, I think it was last week, about the guy, the ramp worker who had
with the headset.
The headset. It was kind of being pulled along by the aircraft that was being pushed back.
As you do.
So Richard's written, hello. I had to chuckle at one of this week's news items, as the exact same thing happened to me many years ago. I was on the headset for pushback of a JMC Airbus A320. JMC, I remember those aircraft. The airline. Pushback complete.
Crap, wasn't it?
Huh?
Hey now.
Anyway, carrying on. Both engines running, and I was just waiting for the all clear from the captain that I was clear to disconnect when the aircraft started rolling forward.
Whoa.
I tried to call the captain, but to no reply. I quickly pulled the headset out and ran out of the way.
I can imagine.
After the event, I wondered if it would have been safer to just stand there and let the aircraft taxi over my head, with me standing between the main gear. Had I tripped or got caught in the cable, I would have been in the perfect location for the engine to go right over me and maybe suck me in. And if that didn't get me, then the main gear may have rolled over me.
Right.
I learned a very important lesson that day. Although aircraft are pretty big and loud, never turn your back on them. No. You never know when they might sneak up on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I like it.
Thank you for that email, Richard. Thank you very much for that.
Brilliant.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But I remember JMC had green. I think they had a green kind of livery on there.
The cabin crew had like space suits.
Did they?
They had very cling-fitting T-shirts.
Right. Okay.
Very cling-fitting trousers.
Oh my! Right.
And bright silver jackets, as in sort of like outdoor things.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. JMC. Yeah, they were founded in 2000, ceased operations in 2003.
Oh wow, they lasted a long time.
They were actually rebranded as Thomas Cook Airlines.
Oh.
So there we go. And actually, JMC, I never realised this till I just researched their thing on Wikipedia, but JMC...
Oh, well, if it's in Wikipedia, it must be 100% completely accurate.
actually used to operate, apart from Boeing and Airbus, they used to operate two McDonnell Douglas DC-10s.
Yes, they did, ex-Air Force.
Which is quite interesting there. But they were JMC were the first UK operator to use the Boeing 757-300. So there we go. JMC. So thanks for that story, Richard Nash. Don't forget, if you want to...
757-300 left its mark on many a runway.
Yeah, and it left its mark with Matt Smith.
It's left its mark on me, thank you very much, and all.
But no, if you...
I don't recommend it for anything anything longer than about 3 or 4 hours.
If you want to send us some feedback into the show, please do send us your feedback. Podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. aviation.com is the email address.
Yeah, or if you want to, as a lot of people do, just use the little contact form on our website. That works very well, and it arrives here at the same location.
It does,
but, yes, absolutely. Barbara's got a suggestion, actually, for the APG jingle that we keep asking. She says that I was hoping the APG jingle would be Captain Nick recorded as saying, "I love Acme Red's Boeing fleet," and put together as a little rap jingle. I think that would be quite... I think that could work. I think that would be really quite magical.
Captain Jeff would be a good rapper.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, so that's that's kind of about really it, I suppose, for the show. If there's any other habits of housework we've got to do.
Any other homework? Yes.
So how's things been with you anyway, Al? Beans, we've got you on here. What's been going on in the world of Captain Al? Obviously, you've been to Naples today.
Yes, because he went to Pittsburgh as well.
He went to Pittsburgh,
yeah. Well, as Owen will testify to, the UK sort of summer season is from May till the end of October. So what with half term being this week, it's been phenomenally busy.
Oh, man.
All the flights have been rammed, and it just sort of comes at you like a ton of bricks, really. The winter, you just kind of tick over, and then just all of a sudden everything just gets that much more harder. Everywhere's busy.
From the May bank holiday, it was absolute. I took the May bank holiday off very well wisely, as I found out this bank holiday when it was absolutely
hideous,
mental.
Does that? I mean, just on a serious note, obviously, it's not. From cabin crew's point of view, I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but obviously from a cabin crew's point of view, it is hideously, so much busier when it's literally every seat is rammed and all that kind of thing. But I mean, from your point of view, Al, I mean, other than the potential delays, I suppose, with trying to get so much kit and everyone trying to get everything either underneath or in the overhead bins and that, does a very full flight have much of an impact on you as a pilot?
Yeah, there's lots of aspects. I mean, if you remember back to those heady days when you used to drive a coach, it used to hold 50 passengers, something like that?
55, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you sort of over a period of a few months get used to having sort of 20 or 30 people on it, and then all of a sudden you start having 55.
Yeah.
Well, then everything takes a lot longer to get people on. It takes a lot longer to get all the bags on. Typically over the winter, generally people are just travelling with handbags. Now they're taking, 35 kilo suitcases for a week in Benidorm. And then of course it's just volume of people going through the terminals, volume of people trying to get on, volume of bags.
Different clientele as well. You've got a lot of stag parties, hen parties, all of which are going to affect you in terms of, they're more likely to be
behaviour.
Yeah. Disruptive.
Yeah. Have you ever had a disrupted flight, Al? Like because of the way?
Yeah, once or twice. They are, to be perfectly honest, relatively uncommon.
Right.
And
I'm very pleased to hear that.
Well, with Royal Jet, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, the cabin crew for most of the good airlines, and I include HeartJet in this, have good personal skills to be able to de-escalate situations and to try to just get people to understand that there's a time and a place for everything. And if you do that in the right way, the majority of sort of hen parties, stag do's, that sort of stuff, your rugby trips, they can all be sort of calm down a bit, and there will be
down to a level that's
appropriate who will see that okay, lads, let's just calm down a bit. Someone will take the lead, as it were. So the actual sort of incidents whereby you have serious disruption. I mean, I can't remember if you ran the story recently of the guy who tried to set fire to an aircraft toilet on the way to Sharm el Sheikh. Well, he's recently at appeal had his sentence doubled.
Wow, good.
And that's the courts making it very clear that they view serious disruption on board aircrafts in a very bad light, if you like, and they will take serious action against those who do that. So I think that sends out a little bit of a message, but there are ways of de-escalating the situation, so it's not a common occurrence. I have had one or two.
Wow.
Occasionally we will have passengers who've been disruptive but haven't necessitated a diversion, who for them to be allowed to travel on their return flight will have to sign additional terms of carriage. So it will specify in a letter that they have to sign that they won't behave in the same manner that they were. They're not to be served alcohol. They will surrender their passport to the crew, etc., etc. And this sets out a very precise legal framework with regards to if you disrupt the flight again, then you are going to become liable financially for the outcome. And generally speaking, when passengers, and it doesn't happen very often either, are presented with these additional terms of carriage, they are very, very contrite and wouldn't say boo to a goose. And when they're asked would they like a drink, they'll say, "Can I have a lemonade, please?"
Right. Yeah. Okay. They've almost learnt their lesson. Almost.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, it does get very, very serious very, very quickly, because I know there was 2 incidents in Harpchet very recently that they gave them lifetime bans and I think it was £1,500 in fines, and those particular incidents didn't necessitate a diversion. They were just being disruptive to the point where police were called on arrival. So I mean, really? Very, very quickly we'll use the authority that we have on board to get police involved to ensure that they don't fly with us again. So I mean, any tiny little thing is enough to I suppose to put people to get people to learn their lesson, really.
Indeed, and I've not Googled it, but the chap who decided he was going to set fire to an aircraft toilet, I think at appeal, was sentenced to prison for in excess of 9 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So that sends out quite a
quite a strong
that's
message,
more than a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
That's that's a good part of your life spent behind bars.
And that guy, it was testified in court that he had previous good character, and that he was ex-army and that as well. So it's not like these people weren't trusted in the past. Yeah. These are people who previously were very trusted by the state even, and now getting handed really well, I suppose fair sentences.
I genuinely don't see it as a bad thing, though. I think I think that people are a little bit sort of too, I don't know, almost like I suppose it comes with the fact that now flying is so much more accessible to anyone. And perhaps a few people just need to be reminded that actually flying is a privilege, and there are different rules when you're in the air as to how you behave on the ground. And the sooner everybody realises that, the sooner we stop reading out these frankly very annoying stories.
I don't know if they are that different to being on the ground. They're just you're in a much tighter space. You're in a much smaller environment, so the consequences are that much bigger. Therefore, the risks of said behaviour are that much greater, and it's tougher. It's got tougher sentences.
So candidly, an airliner is not a pub.
Yeah,
yes, and there are
very
levels
well
of behaviour that are acceptable in a pub, and there are levels of behaviour that aren't.
Yeah.
But either way, an airliner is not a pub. And there are invariably children on board when we're talking about bad language and poor behaviour,
and especially during these half-term times
there are
as well.
Acceptable levels of dress. And we have had
leggings.
The ground staff have said you cannot come on board as a nun on roller skates.
No. I'm surprised these people get through security, because was it 2 weeks ago I was at the airport, and this was before check-in. They weren't checking with Harpchet, surprisingly enough, but
what a surprise.
But they were wearing what seemed to be a diaper. That was it. No shoes, no nothing.
Okay.
Just for the benefit of our English listeners, that's a nappy.
Yeah. A nappy. Okay. That's to be fair, Lane has a great point in the chat room there. He thinks that we should blame it all on Covef, the Donald Trump word that has been invented.
That's right.
Covef. I don't know. C-O-V-F-E-F-E. I genuinely think that we should, as Lane Street says, let's blame it on that. I think so. Yeah. I think so.
So
right.
what's the schedule for the next flight then, Al? What sunny destination are you off to next?
I'm off tomorrow, and then you caught me slightly on the hop now, so just bear with me, and I'll tell you what. The week.
Checking up on his Spectrum plus two.
It's just for our, the various chat room stalkers. They'll want to know immediately where you're going.
So, you're not by any chance going to Ibiza on Sunday, are you?
No, Sunday's Faro.
Okay.
Right.
Monday,
okay.
Naples. Tuesday, Faro. Wednesday, Malaga. Thursday, Faro.
Malaga.
Yeah.
Woo! I love Malaga.
Yeah.
You do like Faro, don't you? And Naples. Yeah, kind of getting that thing there.
I think I'm going to Cagliari on the same day you're going to Naples.
Who?
So
Okay.
same sort of.
That's easy for you to
Cagney
say.
Lacey.
Cagney and Lacey,
It is Cagliari, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. You pronounced it perfectly, better than I could.
So what about you then?
To be perfectly honest, I mean, you're right with Cagney and Lacey. I was more of a Dempsey and Makepeace.
Quite.
Yeah.
Bit of quality. Yeah, absolutely.
I did like the Magnum PI anyway. But no, Owen, where are you off? Off to?
So I've got a very interesting week. I've got Ibiza and then Poitiers in France on Sunday. That's both on Sunday. A home standby.
Ibiza and there on Sunday.
Yeah, Ibiza and back to Stansted, then to Poitiers and back.
God, you
to
greedy.
Stansted. So that is going to be a long day. Then Monday morning I'm on a home standby. Tuesday will be Cagliari. Wednesday is Las Palmas, so that's a very long flight. And then Thursday is Palma de Mallorca. And then I'm off for 3 days again.
There'll be 400 stag doos and hen parties and everything on there.
Yeah. I mean, Palma de Mallorca would probably be the toughest of those. But
have you got any Saturday Palmas on your forthcoming roster?
No, but what was I doing? I did a Malaga on Saturday 2 weeks ago, and that was bit mental.
Okay.
Actually, just for the benefit of our UK listeners, if you take yourselves over to Channel 5 tonight, which is exactly now on Channel 5, there is a program just starting called The Secret Life of the Long Haul Flight. It's about
you really haven't got the hang of this,
A380.
What you want to do is to say, in an hour's time, go to Channel 5 plus 1.
Plus 1.
Yes. Okay, in an hour's time, go to Channel 5 plus 1.
You genuinely suggesting that you've had enough now, and you just want the listeners to push off?
No, not at all. No, what I was actually thinking was all our listeners will have like I have here a UView box, and we'll just go to my app here now and just click on.
Oh, he's doing it now. Look,
I'm just going on there now.
Doing it now. Yeah.
This is going to upset the.
Does this mean our TV's going to stop working in a minute? Yeah.
That's a point. I've just remembered it's not plugged into the router.
Right. Good. Excellent. So
is there a Channel 5 plus 1?
Captain Al, we're getting lots of requests in the chat room. We're getting lots of requests in the chat room, please, for a full-on Welsh accent. Is that something that you can facilitate us with?
Well, there's no tidy, isn't it? So there I was, you see, and I was sat on a park bench, and this man came up to me, and he said, are you reading that newspaper that you're sat on? And I said, no, you're welcome to it. So he said, well, you're sat on it. And I said, yes, but you are welcome to it. So he said, well, how can I read it when you're sat on it? And I said, well, I don't know, but you didn't ask, did you? You just said, are you reading it? So what can I do?
Okay, right. I was a little bit worried where that was going for a minute. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit nervous, but I do love it. It's like, do you know? I mean, of my generation, and you, Owen. I don't think you'll ever have heard of what I'm about to say out loud because you're like, 5 minutes old. But it's just like it's that whole. Every time I hear a Welsh accent, it always makes me think of Ivor the Engine. I love.
Thomas the Tank?
No, just Ivor the Engine. It's just like, yes. Oh, I just love it.
I thought you were going to say Shadwell, see? I thought you were going to talk about John Sparks' character, Shadwell. Shadwell, who lives in a flat on his own in London. Quite a scary thought.
Okay, but anyway, I think we're a little bit off topic.
We've gone off topic now.
What we're going to do is we're going to wrap up.
What I think we should set Al a challenge, and the challenge is that for his next flight, when he goes to, is it Faroe, your next one?
No, Faroe Isles are somewhere to the north of Scotland. It's Faro.
All right, Faro. All right. Politically correct, man. So on your
they are quite different from what There's quite a distance between the two. To be fair,
I think there's some weather differences too.
On Al's next flight to Faro,
yes,
he should do the entire PA with a Welsh accent.
No, I don't think he should.
Welcome on
I don't know if he's
board.
allowed to, is he?
I'd love to hear it.
I did my PAs in
That's
Irish
nice, isn't it?
last flight.
Thank you for joining me on the aeroplane. We're going to go flying now, then, isn't it? So it might get a little bit noisy, but don't be put off by it. It's quite normal.
I'm not too sure there'll be many passengers left.
I love it. We're getting loads of things in the chat room here. With Richard King especially, has gone. We've got the eyeballs there. Anyway, that is where.
Well, the Airbus is powered by steam, I suppose. Yeah.
No, I will not hear. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Anyway,
true Boeing Airbus rivalry.
Yeah, we do genuinely do.
Finally, after how many years?
Only the 2. It feels like a lot longer, but yes, absolutely.
So before we finish the show,
significantly more modern than the L1011, which was coal.
Anyway, where's the button here? We're gonna turn Al's microphone off.
No, we're not.
Flown by a pterodactyl and a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
So anyway, Al,
Joseph and Mary with the 2 cabin crew on it.
So that is where we are going to bring episode number 167 of the Plain Talking UK podcast to a close. We're going to say a big thank you to our resident Captain Al for joining us and say thank you, Al, for your input. As always, you've been an absolute legend. Yes.
Sorry.
That's tidy, isn't it?
Love it. Absolutely. Because there were also, I should just stress, there were also comments in the chat room about, well, they said a Suffolk accent. I was very offended by that. It's actually a Norfolk accent.
So any last...
It's weird because I have no accent at all, do I?
No, you're blinking Scottish.
I'm Scottish.
So any last words from you, Captain Al? No, thank you. Right. So thank you.
This lag in Skype is a godsend, isn't it?
I was going to say, any last words from you, Al?
Stop it. It's been very good. Behave.
Well, yes, I'd just like to say thank you very much for the invitation, as usual.
Al,
thank you for bothering to send me the news stories. Quite frankly, I don't know why you bothered, because I don't have a look at them until the show starts.
They're all maybes anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They're all maybes anyway. They didn't actually happen. So, Al, as always, it has been a real pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you very much for giving up your evening. You must be very tired, bless you.
I'm quite tired, but I'm pleased to see that we're nearly 9 minutes into Jeff's show.
Yeah, absolutely. Owen, it's like having a piece of furniture that's safely arrived here in the studio. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Just as well he wasn't delivered by Royal Mail then.
Owen again. That's just not acceptable behaviour.
No, I'm
He's
sorry.
a valuable part of the community.
Indeed. We all have to have a hobby. Absolutely.
No, thank you, Owen, for joining us this evening. Thanks for your making the trip across the world to come and see us here.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and thank you, Matt, for
the east of England.
bringing me down here.
Yeah, it's all part of the fun.
And where can people find us, Matt? You know.
Oh, yes. Oh, you want me to? Oh, right. Okay.
You can do it under stones.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'll find us under a stone somewhere, basically. So it is
Stonehenge, is it?
Yeah, www.plaintalkinguk.com is the website. You can find us on any of the decent platforms for your audio podcasts, so iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast World, all those things is all available from there. In fact, we're also now available from TuneIn for anyone who's got the TuneIn app. Our podcast is available to download to and listen to via that. If you want to email the show, please, we love to get your feedback. It's podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. You can also use the contact form on the website to send anything you want. As I say, we love to get audio feedback, but obviously just a letter like Richard did earlier, please do just send us an email. It would be our great pleasure to read it out on the show. And of course, all the usual social media feeds. So it's facebook.com/plaintalkinguk, and on Twitter, our Twitter handle is @plaintalkinguk.
So we are going to be back, well, hopefully next week for our next
lawsuits permitting.
Yeah, lawsuits. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, indeed.
For our next show, I think we're going to go for probably the same. We're going to go for Friday again, aren't we? Again,
right. Okay.
Next
yes,
week.
I think that's fine.
And hopefully,
can't you go an hour later just to wind Jeff up even more?
No, we can't go. No. Anyway, that is where we bring episode number 167.
Oh, I will just say, actually, before we finish,
I am trying, Jeff. I am trying. Honestly, it's just not.
No, this is
what piece
of
TriStar are you trying to buy off auction now?
No, I'm gonna on a serious note. Actually, on a serious note, I'm just gonna give a quick plug actually to one of our podcast friends. He's actually one of the presenters over at the Airplane Geeks.
Okay.
Oh, I thought for 1 minute you're going to start plugging Pip's show as soon as he can't be bothered.
No. No, I was going to give a quick mention actually to Max Trescott. Those of you who know Max Trescott's one of the hosts over at the Airplane Geeks show. He's actually got his own podcast out now, which I started to listen to this week. I'm nearly up to date now with the shows he's done. It's the Aviation News Talk podcast. You'll find it on
any
iTunes.
Good?
And it's actually really, really, really good. If any guys are interested in general aviation stuff, your Cessnas, your Pipers, your Moonies and stuff, and you want to listen to Max just talk about all the latest news and reviews on some of the the latest GA stuff that's going on in the world, take yourself over to iTunes and listen to his show on there, Aviation News Talk. It's on there. Like I said, I listened to it this week. It's really, really good. So well done, Max Trescott, for that. And take yourself over to he's actually got maxtrescott.com. If you go over to there, there's a link on his website.
Yeah, aviationnewstalk.com, and it's available.
It sounds like a great show. I'll have to add that to my
Google
list.
Play
It is actually really, I'm not all joking
Android.
aside, it's really, really good. He's one of the latest episodes I listened to, he was talking about the Cirrus, the SR-22 and stuff, and going into quite depth detail on that. So good one to listen to. Another one to add to the 34 podcasts that I currently listen to each week.
Well, there we are.
So that is where we're going to bring the show to a close. Big thanks to everyone in the chat room. Big thanks to everyone who has joined us.
I just wanted to say that I do wish to apologise to Richard for interrupting his feedback earlier. And I did think that it was actually a very interesting and apt piece of aviation feedback, and far more relevant than sort of ice cream, scones, rhubarb crumble and whatever. So yes, well done, Richard, for actually trying to bring something aviation related to the show.
It's nice to get those anecdotes, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And, we're all very sort of aware of the fact that the ground staff are in quite a perilous position down there whilst we're sat inside.
Yeah.
And it's worth knowing. But I'm really not convinced that walking backwards is the right thing, because then the tug will just drive you over. So,
well, I mean, in that vein, thanks to all the ground crew that are out there to keep us guys in the air flying and keep us in the air.
You're all doing it on purpose, aren't you?
No. So anyway,
just keep chucking those suitcases in. They'll bounce.
So as I was saying, that's where we're going to bring episode 167
breaking news
to a close.
More breaking news.
Thanks to everyone who's joined us in the chat room. Don't forget, take yourselves over to the Airline Pilot Guy show. Go and hassle the Jeff.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll have Nick and Steph with him on the show this week. So take yourselves over there. Thanks again to everyone in the chat room who's joined us this evening. Thanks, Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl Mandrake. Love the show today. You guys rock.
Thank you,
Cheryl.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, and yes, for your information, Barbara, yes, I do listen to 134 podcasts. So, that's it. So, anyway, that's all we're going to bring the show to a close. So, thanks for everyone for joining us. Take care. Have a fantastic weekend. And enjoy yourselves.
Just before we go.
No, that is really it. So, last words. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. So, thanks, Al. Have a lovely day, old boy. And on
a final note.
And finally.
And
finally.
Absolutely.
So from me, Carlos, it's goodbye.
On that bombshell of a show.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Goodbye.
North Star.